All right. 15 years ago, on my radio program, Doctor, I said that marijuana should be legal.
You were absolutely right.
It's happening now, slowly but surely. Here in Nevada, we've got medical marijuana. In Colorado and Washington, they've got more than that. They've got go buy what you want marijuana. Mm-hmm. And we're in the middle of a revolution, finally. 15 years ago when I said it, people said I was a devil. And I was leading people into a horrible lifestyle where they will rape and pillage and God knows what.
Ridiculous.
I really took a lot of heat.
Marijuana has been the cornerstone of drug therapy for the world. For the last 10,000 years.
Yeah, giving Dr. Gupta credit here, because I'm just a radio talk show host. He's a medical consultant to a gigantic network. And he blew the top off this, a couple of years ago now?
Mm-hmm.
So I give him credit for that. And now you tell me what you think of marijuana. And there are various forms, oils. There's a plain old smoke in it, and so forth. Does it help?
Oh, it helps tremendously. There's 100. Last time I looked, there was more than 104 different cannabinoids, which are ingredients in cannabis,
right?
Which is the marijuana plant. And each one of them has a separate effect. And you do not have to get high. The THC, which is tetrahydrocannabinol, which is the component of cannabis that gets you, but it has a psychoactive component that gives you that buzz.
Yes.
That can be deleted from marijuana, and you can buy it legal. You can buy marijuana legally, by the way, in all 50 states. You just can. It's not the THC. The THC is what's the illegal part of it. The legal part of it is the other 103 cannabinoids. The other 103 cannabinoids do tremendous things with regard to improvement in immunity, improvement, protection against. They have antioxidant effects. They have protection against some aging-related disorders. They are good for arthritis. I mean, the list is on and on and on. They help with sleep, help with anxiety. Some of the cannabinoids stimulate appetite, and which is very good for people with cancer because their appetite is shot because the cancer itself in late stages produces these chemicals in the body that ruin your appetite, that just make you feel horrible. And the marijuana helps that. It also, there's some components of the plant that actually inhibit appetite. So there's all these various effects that you can get out of this one plant. And that's why for thousands of years, marijuana has been one of the most ubiquitous medicinal herbs on the planet, and is the real reason, by the way, why cannabis was outlawed, because it was. I'm sure you know this, Art, but the original Model T Ford, the first car, the first mass-produced automobile, was designed to run on what? Gasoline? No. It was designed to run on hemp.
Yeah, hemp. I know.
Okay.
I know. This is another case of idiots. I don't want to sound like Donald Trump, but idiots running the country. I can't think of anything particularly negative about marijuana. Even in the getting high part, you get high. You get no headache from being high. When it goes away, it doesn't leave you with a hangover. It just fades away. People driving on marijuana, not that anybody would recommend that, but they're liable to be the ones doing 45 miles an hour, not 120.
Right.
So it has none of the horrible bad effects that they assigned to it that I'm aware of.
Right, but it did get in the way of certain industries. It got in the way of the gasoline industry.
How about booze?
It got in the way of the textile industry because hemp clothing lasts forever.
Yep. How about booze? How about booze, Doctor? I mean, if you compare the two, booze is horribly damaging. It costs billions and billions every year in the economy from the damage that alcohol does. So I would think they would have a big interest in suppressing cannabis until it doesn't exist if they could do it.
Right. And hemp paper, by the way. The Constitution of the United States was published on hemp paper.
That's right.
George Washington was the largest hemp farmer in the United States until the 1930s. You could pay your income taxes with hemp.
Mm-hmm. There's people out there going,
it was a major cash crop of the United States.
Are they really saying this? Yes.
This is all fact. This is all absolute fact. And what happened was there was a conspiracy. I don't generally believe in conspiracy theories, but there was a conspiracy among industrialists and the government to outlaw marijuana because it got in the way of paper manufacturers and clothing manufacturers and pharmaceuticals and a few other companies. And they wanted to get rid of it, and by God, they did, and they outlawed it. Mm-hmm. And then they compounded that crime by turning it into the biggest boogeyman in the war on drugs.
What did they do? Make it a schedule? In some places, I think it is still a Schedule II drug, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And that's right.
It's a felony, and you could go to jail for many
and
years.
That's right in there with like heroin and crack cocaine.
Yeah.
In fact,
LSD.
LSD. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So what a horrible thing we did.
Schedule 2, by the way. Schedule 1.
Schedule 1.
Okay. Even worse. Yeah.
Even worse. Yes. Horrible. 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 And so if somebody has cancer right now, and I have some friends that do. They use marijuana, and it helps them tremendously with the symptoms they have. Number one, from the, these body-wrecking drugs that people have to take for cancer, these chemicals. It helps them fight the nausea. It helps them feel better, and it's against the law.
Right.
So, what would the downsides medically of marijuana be?
Well, I mean, you don't want to. You need to understand that it is there is a psychoactive component in it unless you get the THC depleted oils, which you can. You can get the THC. I have hemp oil right here that I use for joint aches and arthritis, and I use it for if I get a cut or a scrape. You can use the hemp oil for your skin as a cosmetic. So if you get the THC-deleted hemp oil, you have all the ingredients minus the THC, and it's legal in 50 states. The only downside that I can think of with the marijuana is you don't want to operate motor vehicles with it, and you may end up getting a little sloppy or foolish or lazy if you imbibe on it at the wrong time.
Do you know? I think that was one of the main things that drove making pot illegal was the government feared that people would become less productive. At least they used that excuse, and there might be something to it. I mean, yes, somebody might smoke pot and sit back and contemplate the world when they might otherwise have gone and cut the lawn. I don't know, but
they can also have a 6-pack of beer.
Oh, well, look, the danger to society from alcohol is far, far bigger than anything from marijuana, as I mentioned. Right. If I were given a choice, you don't ever want to face anybody driving in the other lane on anything at all. But given a choice between somebody on pot, somebody on alcohol, a drunk driver, I'll take the pot guy anytime because he's probably crawling along.
Mm-hmm. Now, the other interesting thing about marijuana is that it's immune activating drug.
Oh.
It stimulates the immune system, and so it has another benefit for people who have autoimmune disorders such as multiple sclerosis and also arthritis and also cancer. So there's a whole lot of good news to this, and the government themselves published these papers back in the 1970s saying that this substance had tremendous benefit, but it was suppressed. The research was suppressed. because I guess they didn't want to get caught, being at odds with themselves.
Not only that, but our jails, Doctor, are filled to the bursting point with many, many, many people who are arrested for some level of marijuana, something or another. If we were to empty the jails of the marijuana arrests, they'd be pretty empty.
Well, then we'd have room for the illegal aliens.
Oh, my. Well, all right.